First of all, what comes to my mind when I was informed that we were going to talk about the arnis. First, I am excited because arnis is one of the sports that I am interested to because I believe arnis is effective in terms of self-defense that we can use when we grow up and start to work. While on the other hand, I look forward that it's going to be a struggle one because of our setup today, but it's going to be worth it also because of the lessons that it will give us when we finish this subject. That's all.
What comes to your mind when you found out that your PE subject this semester is all about Arnis? The first thing that comes in my mind when I found out that our PE subject would be Arnis, I think it would be fun and great since in high school we didn't have that kind of stuff where we would experience getting new knowledges about Arnis.
When I found out that our PE subject this grade 12 second semester is all our knees, I decided to join swimming lesson instead. And I made this decision when I was still on 11th grade. However, since pandemic happened, I had no other choice but to learn about our knees.
I always think that it is difficult because you're only at home, but I feel kind of excitement because somehow I wanted to learn arnis and this can be used as a self-defense technique.
For the second one, I have encountered problems in terms of how I'm going to perform it well the arnis because arnis is such a technical kind of sport because of the grip, the handle, on how we are going um, to fight and use the techniques properly. I have been problems encountering that. Also, one of the examples is on striking techniques because we are not having a face-to-face um, meeting. I have experienced problems on how to know the grip, on how to know the persons that I have to attack because of the striking techniques, and on how to perform it well. Thus, I have encountered problems in terms of mastering it and to know it to perform it better when I start to film.
In doing your activities or outputs, what problem do you mostly encounter? I think the most that I see this as a problem when I'm recording videos for P is that my place isn't big enough to do all the movements, the swings for the harness.
In doing our activities, my greatest problem was space. Our house isn't that big for me to demonstrate our knees properly. I always need to be careful with the force of my swing because I might hit something in our house and it could cause such accident.
Technique. The problems that I had encountered is the difficulty of filming a video because the place is not that large and it's also hard to send activities sometimes because of the internet.
For the third part, as a student, what is my strategies? The strategies that I have three strategies, and that is to have a time management or timetable, to know it better by analyzing the modules, and lastly to listen to my teachers. Time management is where I create a timetable on how I'm going to practice it and what when I will know that I have mastered it, and that's the time when I going to film it. I use this strategy to because PE is not just the subject in our semester. We have other subjects that we need to give a priority time give our time, and that's why I create a time management to have a practice time in order to have a practice time when I think that I have mastered it completely, I'm going to film it. And secondly, I listen to my teachers. I do my best to know and to listen well to the instruction and tips of our teachers to make the performance of every activity well and efficient, or in other words accurate also. And the last one is I analyze the modules. Every time that I practice, I always look to the grip, to the stance, to the position of the example, the picture that is in the module. Like for example, the striking techniques again. I always analyze how the grip and how position or the footwork of the person who is demonstrating it in the video. That's why it's really helpful. These strategies is really helpful for me to and even if we are in the distance learning, I can learn it properly and to execute it well when I start to film and made this activity.
Yes. As a student, what are the strategies you use to execute the skills needed in every activity? I think the skills that I just do or make when I am recording earnest videos is that I just continue watching it. I keep watching the example videos our teachers provided for us so that I can make a great recording video.
I move slowly as my strategy to execute what is needed to be done. I practice first where I would swing the arnis so that I will be familiar with the space, movement, and the force need to exert to avoid hitting things like table and etc.
Internet. I often watch example videos and I practice over and over again until I get the skill I needed to learn arnis.
Lastly, what are the lessons that I have learned when taking this subject that I can use for the future? First is I believe that I have learned harness in order to protect myself as a self-defense. Harness is one of the recommended self-defense that is needed by the people, especially by us, the next generation. I believe that harness I can use the harness to protect myself when I start to work, to defend myself to the others who wants to harm me. And yeah, I believe this is one of the best lesson that I can use by the I can use to the future. Second is to
And make a great recording video. What are the lessons you have learned in my subject that you can think you can use in the future? I think self-defense as Sharina would be great, and since in Philippines you can just find sticks everywhere, and the lessons that I have would really be a great help, especially the striking techniques that I had this term.
As a woman, this lesson is a necessity. We never know when will we put in a situation where we have to fight. I've learned where I could hit so that the opponent will become weak. This lesson I will carry for the rest of my life as I take this as a protection for future danger I may face.
I needed to learn arnis. I think the 12 strike techniques because I can use this as self-defense if I get myself in trouble.